All right, section 6.6 talks about ratio, proportion, and other applied problems. So we have something here that we call the proportion equation, and it says if A over B is equal to C over D, then A times D equals B times C. So just to kind of give you a heads up of really what we're doing here, let me change my color, we are cross multiplying. So we're saying let's take A times D, and then let's take those two numbers, B times C, and they'll be equal to each other. So what we're really doing here in 6.6, we're going to go back and we're going to solve some equations, kind of like we did back in chapter 2. And so again, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. So I'm going to multiply these numbers together. So I know 7 times 9 is going to give me 63. And then 14 times x is going to give me a 14x. And now what I need to do is I need to go ahead and divide both sides by 14. And so those there will cancel. Okay. And these numbers, I know I can divide them at least both by 7. So 7 goes into 63 9 times, and 7 goes into 14 twice. And so we're left with 9 over 2 equals x. Okay. So let's take a look here at the next problem. I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing. Let's go ahead and cross multiply. So we know that x times 7, is going to give me a 7x. And 18 times 3, let's see, 8 times 3 is 24. Oops, let me write that a little bit better. That's not better at all. Oops, twice, there we go. Let's come back over here. Okay. So 8 times 3 is 24, carry the 2, 3 times 1 is 3, and 2 more is 5, so that's 54. And then we can go ahead and divide both sides by 7. And 7 and 54 don't actually reduce. So I'm just going to leave my answer as 54 over 7, okay? Now, let's take a look at the next problem here. Again, we'll go about it the same exact way. We're going to cross multiply. So x times 12.5 is a 12.5 with an x. Then we're going to multiply 3 times 3.2. Let me see if I have a calculator here. Calculator right here. And there we go. So let's see, what do we multiply again? 3 times 3.2. Oops. 3 times 3.2 equals 9.6. Okay, so let me see if we can make this a little bit smaller too. There we go. We came up with 9.6. So right here we're going to write 9.6. And then we'll go ahead and divide both sides by 12.5. And guys, because I am dealing with decimals here, I'm just going to go ahead and divide this out and see what we come up with. So let's see, 9.6 divided by 12.5 equals 0.768. So we're coming up with x equals 0.768. And there's my answer, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look-see at the next problem. Again, I'll do the same thing. Excuse me, so we're going to multiply 12 times 7. I want to say that's going to give us something like 84. X times 3 is going to be 3x. So we can go ahead and divide both sides by 3. So once again, if I grab my calculator here and go 84 divided by 3, we get 28. So 28 is equal to x. Okay. And so now let's take a look at the next problem that we got here. And it's talking about exchange rates. So let's see if we can figure this out. It says, Sean spent a semester studying in Germany. On the day he arrived in Berlin, the exchange rate for the euro was 0.77 euro per US dollar. Sean converted $350 to euros that day. How many euros did Sean receive for his $350? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I want to notice this part that they're telling me. So they're saying that we're going to get 0.77 euro per US dollar. That means for 1 US dollar. So for $1, okay? And we know that Sean had $350 that day. We're trying to figure out how many euros did he get. So I want you to notice here, the way I'm doing my comparison is dollars to dollars on the bottom, euros to euros on the top. So now I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. So I know that 1 times x is just an x. And then I'm going to grab my calculator again. And let me move it this way. So let me clear this. We're going to take 0.77 or 0.77 times 350. And so he ended up with 269.5 euros. Okay. All right. Let's look at part B. Part B now says, on his way home, Sean decided to spend a week in London. It says he had 200 euros that he wanted exchanged into British pounds. If the exchange rate was 0.83 British pounds per euro, how many pounds did he receive? Okay, so we're going to do this just like we did the other one. So I want you to look at this part right here. So 0.83 British pounds is the same thing as 1 euro. Okay? And it says that he had 200 euros. We want to know how many British pounds did he end up with. So just like we did before, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. So I know 1 times x is an x. Okay? And again, I'm going to grab my calculator right here. And I'm going to take, let me clear this out. And I'm going to take 0.83 times 200. Okay, so let's go 0.83 times 200 equals, so he ended up with 166 British pounds. Okay. All right. Okay, so now let's take a look at the last problem here out of 6.6. Baggage weight. It says Dick and Ann took a trip to France. Their suitcases were weighed at the airport, and the weight recorded was 39 kilograms. If 50 kilograms is equivalent to 110 pounds, how many pounds did their suitcases weigh? Round to the nearest pound. Okay, so again, first thing I want to mention here, it's telling me 50 kilograms is the same thing as 110 pounds. So that's going to tell me how I'm going to write my first fraction. We're going to say 50 kilograms is the same thing as 110 pounds. So I don't want you to think that's the number 1,101 lbs for pounds, right? And we know that their suitcase weighed a total of 39 kilograms. So again, guys, one thing I want to mention here, kilograms on the top, kilograms on the top. We're trying to figure out how many pounds it was at. So again, I'm going to cross multiply once again. So x times 50, so 50x. Then we're going to take 110 times 39. So let me grab my calculator again, clear that out. 110 times 39 gives me 4,290. So let's write that here, 4,290. Then we want to go ahead and divide everything by 50. So if I grab my calculator one more time and divide that number by 50, 85.8 is what I'm coming up with. 85, oops. Back because it says 85.8 pounds. And then the directions do tell me to round to the nearest pound. So if I'm going to round that to the nearest pound, 85.8 rounded to the nearest pound would be 86 pounds. And that is section 6.6.